within the limitations of the budget, we are doing some recapitalization. But at the end of the day, it's easier to suggest recapitalize in the absence of any other solution, which effectively means that money you should be spending on irrigation, and money you should be spending on Manrega, and money you should be spending on poverty alleviation schemes. Withdraw that money and start giving it to the banks, because the rich guys haven't paid the banks. Effectively, that's what you are saying. Now, I think the problem really is concerned with 20 to 30 accounts. The banks have to have the decision-making ability to settle those accounts. We've given more power by amending all our legislations, the Sarfazi, the DRT and so on. We've now expanded investments into the ARCs, so that you have a lot of ARCs which are there, which can buy some of these assets, hold them, and then find an appropriate buyer. The RBI itself came out with several schemes. The banks now need to have the leadership really to force those solutions. A very large number of India doesn't get financially supported by the banks in order to industrialize, merely because 20 or 30 accounts are holding up most of the money. And then you expect the government to withdraw from the social sectors the money and start supporting the banks just because some people who are extremely wealthy have defaulted.
Opportunity to introduce another subject which I think is top of the mind, which is demonetization and the impact or lack thereof, on the economy and the public at large. The UP elections, many of us in my fraternity, I must confess, expected the UP elections to be some kind of a referendum on demonetization. It turned out to be nothing of that kind. So, how do you read this whole?
You see, let me tell you. First of all, no election is ever a referendum. Elections are fought in India on multiple factors. They will be fought on the image of the central government, the leader of the central government, on the image of the state government, the leader of the state government, the width of social combinations, and of course the political issues involved. So it's a cocktail of several issues which goes into the making of an election result. I think it was not demonetization per se, but I can see gradually a shift in one category of voters taking place. So if you look at how the tribal districts of Orissa voted, if you look at how the slums of Mumbai voted, and if you see the extent of many groups of the weaker sections voting in Uttar Pradesh, if you look at these three, I think the BJP's ability to get the votes of the weaker sections has significantly improved. And in several areas, the impact of the Congress on these sections, which was quite high, even when it lost elections in the past, I think it has weakened. So there is a big shift which has taken place.
So do you think Uttar Pradesh in that sense marks a sort of inflection point in our politics, where some of the traditional caste, community kind of political shorthand, which was conveniently used by everybody, that's no longer relevant. That today's voter is actually looking for something different.
The caste-based parties overemphasize their support on the basis of a single caste. And therefore, when in governance, they were loaded in favor of that single caste. That led to the alienation of other castes. And what you need to win an election, even in terms of a social combination, is a much bigger bouquet. You just can't have one flower